The next Selenium WebDriver identifier that I want to talk about is the CSS Selector, which basically allows us to use CSS commands to navigate through the HTML. Now, why the CSS Selector is good is because it's easier to write and it looks simpler. However, there are some problems with it, is that it's not available on some older browsers, and maybe over a specific period of time, in a few months, maybe in a year, this point will not even be relevant because those older browsers will hardly be in the picture. But that is one of the cons, and therefore usually there is a competition between CSS and Xpath, right? People are like, oh, use CSS, no, use Xpath, use CSS, Xpath, whatever. I think it doesn't really matter which one you use. I prefer Xpath because, first of all, it is available on all browsers, and the conventions are not as hard to learn for Xpath as they are for CSS, just because Xpath is a little bit more intuitive with its conventions. And also, there are two resources that I want to point you to, guys, that you may want to make yourselves aware of. So first, there's saucelabs.com/resources/selenium/css-selectors, where they talk about identification using CSS, and they actually give you examples. Right here is Xpath, here's CSS, Xpath, CSS, Xpath, CSS examples, and they talk about it, and then they actually claim that it's faster. But then there is another resource that I want to show you guys, which is by Dave Hefner. This guy is actually really cool. I suggest you guys check him out. I always read up his blog. He provides a lot of solid content, and he actually did a test to compare the speed of CSS versus Xpath. And he compared it on different browsers to see how they compare. And he actually said that Xpath is actually faster than CSS. And there are a few other differences, but I actually trust him. And even if CSS is faster than Xpath, the differences are so negligible that I don't think it really matters. So I am not going to focus on CSS so much for you guys because I think it's less relevant than Xpath. But if you want to learn more, like I said, there's this CSS tutorial from Sauce Labs, which is excellent, and they can help you guys learn it. But we're going to really focus on Xpath and learn on dominating Xpath so that you guys can be awesome at identifying elements. Well, either way, let me quickly show you what a CSS identifier would look like. So if we were hovering over this button, you guys see up here that this is an Xpath example. This string right here, that's an Xpath. I can switch it to CSS, and then I can hover over it again. There you go. And that's a CSS example. Let me hover over this button. See that? See how it's a little bit different? It's just like hashtag ID example. Or like this. Dot button class example. Sorry, I actually clicked on that one. Or something like this, which to me is very confusing. But those are the identifiers. And that's how it looks. Let's try to use it in Selenium WebDriver. So first I want to bring your attention to this button over here, right? I'm going to hover over it. And this is the CSS that is provided to me by Firebug, this value right here. So that's what I can use as my CSS. Now we also have many other options, right? Do you guys see what we can do here? It's a link, so we can use link text. You guys see that? We can use partial link text. We can use the href property, but if you use the href property, I think that's going to click on many links. I can show you guys that later. Or we can use the class, which may be unique, but it's actually not, because you guys can see that because of this identifier, there are two buttons being highlighted. You guys see that? 1, 2. So this identifier is actually not unique. So the CSS would normally look like this, and by CSS selector you just pass that value in, but that is not unique enough for us to click on only this button. Therefore, we cannot use it. So rather than teaching you a CSS way of identifying this, we will learn to identify this using Xpath.